Hi! Hello, folks. Welcome. I have been needing to make this clay owl for a while now, so I figured I would just do it. So thanks for being here. This owl today, I don't know if anybody's ever seen any of the owls I make before, but he's kind of dusty. This is an example of one, if I can get the camera to focus. There we go. My little Matt Smith Doctor Who owl. I also, of course, have a 10th Doctor owl, because how can you not? He has a screwdriver. Let's see. Come on, focus, camera. Maybe it won't. Maybe you can see him better here. And this one, over at Saving Throw, was for Black Bag. He's a little Cthulhu owl that I made at one point. He's got little wings on his back. Yeah, and I've got a few other things I've made. These are little figures from, if you know my husband Jordan, his RPG Goobles and Goblins. So that's a goblin, and he's a gnome. But Jordan designed them and I made them into clay. Anyway, so I'm going to make a Carmen Sandiego owl, and I have to find a... Oh, you guys can't hear the music. Here we go. There you go. Now hopefully you can. Okay. Let me look up a picture of Carmen Sandiego first. That's very important. And then we will start making this owl. Hi! How are you all? Can you hear me? I hope you can. Carmen Sandiego. Okay. So, the things I use to make these owls are obviously some clay. And then I also have, this is Sculpey clay, just a normal colored clay, which I'm not a huge fan of. Sculpey. It's fine, but I actually wanted to try it. I forget the other brand that I wanted to try. Anyway, maybe later on down the road. But you kind of want to warm it up first. But while I'm doing that, I'll show you some of the tools I have. So this is just like a roller. It's plastic. This thing I really like. It's wood, so it helps. You can use these ends and stuff to smooth things out, which is nice. I have some foil, which you can use on the inside. I have these tools, which are just different cutting tools. Plastic, cheap things you can get. I have a cat. Okay. Cat, you have blocked the entire camera. Everybody really wants to look at you. Yes, of course. I have some paper clips here, which you can just normal old paper clips in this ice chip container. And we can use all of these for varying different things for our owl. So, but I make pretty much every owl the same, and then you add the little details. And I'm going to paint this owl, so we'll bake it and then paint it later. So I won't paint it today, obviously, so it has to have time to cool. But the first thing I'm going to do is make the body. So I'm going to tear off some foil. Don't need a whole lot. It's been a little while since I've made one, so we'll have to play with it to get the right amount. But I basically want to make kind of like this, like a little ball. Doesn't need to be very big. I mean, these guys are not very big, as you can see. These little dudes. Alright. So I've got this, and if you can smooth out your edges, I don't know if you can see how, it's foil, foil. You just want to make sure that, sorry, my cat is on the sink, that there aren't too many that stick out. And you want it to be pretty compacted so that it holds its shape. Don't you get in the sink, Zuko. Alright, so now I'm going to flatten out my piece of clay. And just put the foil inside it and then wrap the clay around it. And you don't need a whole lot, but you want a fair amount of clay so you can kind of move it around. So I'm probably going to need a little bit more than this. I'm going to roll it up a little bit to kind of smooth it out. Okay, so I've pretty much got this covered. It's kind of this little round body. I'm going to put a little more clay on it, so I'm going to need to heat up with my hands a little bit more of this clay. All right. We got pictures of Carmen. So what I'll probably do is her hat and coat. And then the colors I paint will be her red and orangey black. Red and black and orange, I guess, are her. It kind of depends her colors. Probably do a coat similar to 10 here. Her hat might be hard though, I'll have to figure that out. Alright, let's add a little more clay to this. I'm just gonna, so much of it is kind of smoothing it around with your hands. This seems pretty good. Alright, so now we've got this little body. It's a little ball really around this foil. I'm gonna set it down. And now we're gonna do the head. Similar, very similar way. I had another little piece of foil. It must have. Did my cat steal it? Did you steal it, Zuko? Oh, kinda. Okay. All right. So we're gonna, and this, you know, honestly is probably already too big of a ball, but I will try. I will try. See if I can press it down a little bit. Alright. Maybe she has a big head, you know? Guess we'll find out. This might work. Alright. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So get this a bit smoothed out. Now this is where our paper clip's going to come in handy. So I'm going to get just this metal paper clip here. And I'm just going to cut off a very tiny bit. Alright, so I've got this little tiny piece. I don't even know if you can see this. Not very much. Honestly, I probably have too much. And then I'm going to decide which side should be my top. They're all pretty standard to me. So I'll make it this one. I'm just going to stick this down in here and try and kind of get it into the foil if I can. So this just adds a little bit of stability between the head and body. And then I'm just going to stick the head on top, and again, kind of figuring out which side I want to be the top. Again, doesn't matter, really. And you stick it on there. Now we have a clay snowman. Isn't he adorable? Okay. Next, I'm going to take this tool so I can kind of smooth out the clay. So I'm going to get rid of this line because, you know, owls don't have a round head, not that you can see on their bodies exactly. So I'm just gonna pull some of this clay down on top. And you don't have to have tools to do this, but it is a little easier. You can use a little more leverage here. And you can see, like, I don't have a whole lot, or I don't know if you can see this, but there's some foil peeking through, which is okay, but generally you want to avoid. But you can fix it by adding more clay. Hooray! That's not too hard. And then I'm going to pull some up from the bottom as well. Alright, so now we have kind of this like little weird sack creature. But mostly I'm just going to smooth that out a little bit. And you can do that with fingers, or I really like this wood thing, this wood tool that I have. Because it just kind of, this rounded, like soft, the wood being soft edge is easy to smooth out on the clay. It's hard enough, but also soft enough that it doesn't leave horrible edges. All right. And sometimes there's a little too much clay on the bottom. You kind of got to shape them. She's going to be, I guess, rather, I should say. Thank you! Welcome, Scott Aid H. Scott Aid? I've made a good handful. I sold a bunch at WonderCon one year, which was fun. It was the only time I did it, though. Just the 1 year. Hey, Eric! Hi! This is a raid, I guess. Clearly. Thank you, thank you. You made my Dalek very excited. You saw there. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, everyone. This is a very exciting raid. You guys are clearly very excited. I've just started making a Carmen Sandiego owl. This is where we're at so far. We'll see how far I can get today before I have to go teach my next yoga class. Alright. So normally what I would probably do next is make the ears. But because I'm probably going to put the ears on top of the hat, I'm not going to do that. Oh, that's cool. The Gaelic spelling of Scotty. Huh, that's awesome. I like it. I like it. Alright. This music's pretty intense. Let's switch to this channel. There we go. It's a little more chill. Oh! Alright. Okay, so I think what we'll do next is the coat. I like this because it's a little trick. So let's see, Carmen's. Hey, thank you for the follow. Thank you very much. Grace loves Newsies. Thank you. Okay, back to my picture of Carmen Sandiego here. Because her jacket's more so we've got 10 here. Oh, thank you for the follow. Oh, thank you. Scotty H. That's what I want to do. I want to add that H on there. Okay. So I think for her, and she usually has, oh no, she doesn't. Okay, but her coat is usually closed. We want like more of a shape than this one. So I'm going to take a little bit more clay. And we'll warm this up just a little bit. Although, since it's so hot lately, it's really not that hard. Clay gets really, like, hard if it's too cold. But you don't want it too soft either, because that doesn't work out so well. Alright. So for this, I'm going to start by rolling it out so I can get a longer piece. Oh, and by the way, I don't think I said this before. I'm using a piece of tile. It works a little better like glass or something. Sorry, you guys are getting the vibration of this rolling. Move the camera back just a touch. There, so it's not hitting the table. And anyway, yeah. it's a little easier than doing it like, if it sticks, things like that, you can just wipe it off. And it just is a bit smoother on your creations. Okay, so this piece of clay is way too big. So I'm going, because it's too thick, I would have to make it very long. So I'm going to cut a piece off, keep rolling it. And this is probably still a little too thick. Cut off a little bit more, we'll roll some more. Alright. This is probably good. So now I'm going to take my rolling pin here and I'm just going to roll this piece out so it's a bit more flat. And then what I actually want to do here is cut a better edge. So I'm going to cut into this with my purple tool, whatever you want to call it. So it's a little bit of a better edge. Not sure you can quite see that here since it's all this one color. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to wrap it around so the edge is on top. And I'm going to kind of wrap it around because her coat usually goes up high and then down. So I'm going to wrap it around for that. See if I can get it even. I think I want to come down this way a touch. Alright. Excuse me, Zuko, what are you playing with? Crazy. Crazy cat. Alright, I want my sides to be kind of even if I can. Alright, so this is what I have right now. See if you can see that. It almost looks like a scarf. But what I'm going to do to make clothes without using excess clay is I'm just going to smooth this bit in here. So just the bottom. So it looks like it blends in. Now I'm going to do that all the way around. Of course, I'm not going to smoothen the top. Sometimes you have quite a bit of clay you have to deal with. Alright, so I'm going to do this all the way around. Ooh, man, this music's intense now, huh? Pull this back up. Okay. Don't need Carmen quite yet. Okay. So as I do this, sometimes I kind of lose the shape that I want. So I can kind of go back and try and adjust that. So I don't know if you can see this, it's kind of like come down on one side in a way that I don't want it to. But you can literally kind of push on stuff, or I might have to pull it down on this other side to get it a bit more even. And then you can kind of try to shape it so it doesn't look lumpy if you have maybe a little bit too much clay. Alright. And then for the bottom, so here's what we have so far. It's kind of like she's got like wrapped in a blanket is kind of what it looks like right now, like a baby wrapped in a blanket. There we go. So this is what we're starting with, and I'm probably going to try and pull the top away from my body just a touch. Might not be able to a whole lot, but because Carmen's jacket is kind of like that. However, because it's kind of a thin piece, I don't want to pull it away too much just because it kind of needs that stability. But just to give it the feel. Alright. Now, I think we should do the feet, actually. So the feet are fun. I'm just going to take a little bit of this. Oops. Roll it into a ball. Roll it out into a little tube. Try and get it kind of even. And then cut it in half. And then I'm going to create 2 more little balls here. And then once I have that, I'm going to squish it on one side so you kind of have this teardrop shape. And then set that down. Oops. And I'll do the same thing with the other one. And same thing. Kind of make a little teardrop shape, but I'm going to set it next to this other one. One foot might be a little bigger than the other. And then I'm going to push down on either side so I kind of have this like flat bit. And I'm just scoring it a bit so it sticks a little better, so just kind of roughing it up. And then I'm going to set my body right on there and squish it in. There we go. Now I have these little feet. And then to make the toes, although, yeah, we'll do normal feet here instead of shoes. So I'm just going to push this in to create an indentation. Make 2 little indentations to make 3 little toe type things, little claw things here. There we go. Okie dokie. So I did that. Oh, they're kind of even, so, I mean uneven, so I'm going to move a foot over. A lot of messing when you're making these dudes. Alright, hang on. Come over here. So you don't look like your feet are going the wrong way, lady. There we go. That works. Okay. I don't like this song. It sounds weird. Thumbs down. Okay. We'll see about this one. Hello folks, welcome if you're just joining us. I am making a Carvin San Diego owl today. So I think next we're gonna do the bottom of the coat. So pretty much the same thing we did for the top. I'm going to roll out a piece. Probably doesn't need to be this long. This might be too thin. We'll see. And then I'm going to roll this flat, just gently. And this time I'm just going to kind of try and get it even by pushing on it. Alright. Might need a thicker piece than this. This is pretty thin. But I'm going to put this down at the bottom. Alright, and this piece is going to be too long, so I'm going to see if I can cut it off here. There we go. Okay, so now we have this. And And I'm going to smooth that in this direction. This is where it starts to get harder because you don't want to squish the things you've already done. So you have to be gentle about where you hold onto your figure. And you can kind of press it down to get like the edge that you want. All right. I think the hat is going to be the hardest part here. For sure. Alright, I'm going to try to open up this coat a little bit because she kind of like is open around the waist, or rather below the waist. And smoothing out some of the details can be kind of difficult. That's definitely something that is not my forte. There are other people in the world who make clay creatures that I think are much more clean than mine, which for me is really kind of just a difference in style, because I don't have that kind of patience, and I don't mind a little bit of messiness. All right. So now I kind of have, hang on, I'm trying to get this edge the way I want it. Now I kind of have this like, this little coat that comes together here in the middle. But see, it looks like there's a whole just chunk around the body when there really isn't. It's a trick. Now what I want to do, let's see what my next thing should be. What I really want to do is try and get this body shape. I'm not sure. I mean, it is an owl, so the owl is always going to kind of have the same thing. But I kind of want to see if I can get a waist. So I'm going to try to squish some of my clay in and flare out this jacket on the bottom a little bit. So we have that sense of like hourglass. Alright. Now I think I should probably do the arms next. I think that would probably be good. Actually, first, normally my owls, they have, oops, sorry. On my owls, they have these little, you know, round bellies. So you can kind of see what would be the top of her belly, I think. Here. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the follow. How do you say your name? Hoskatir. Hoskatir. Hosk. Yeah, I'm doing that right? Here we go. Okay. Alright. I think that's pretty good. So yes, we're going to try this kind of giving myself a hard job doing that, as I probably should have done it before I did the jacket, but we'll see if we can do it. Just need a very little bit. I'm going to make a circle. I'm going to press it down and see if I can roll it a little flatter. That is not enough clay. Let's do a little bit more. All right. All right, got this little ball. I'm going to press it flat. And I'm going to roll it out a bit to make it a bit smoother, a bit thinner. And to try and get the size that I want here. Whoop. So I've got this right now. And I'm going to cut it in half because I only need half. Let's see if I can make this work. I'm honestly not sure that I can make it look good. If I cut it a bit into the shape of her jacket, might be able to get it done in there. It's a little too big. Excuse me, kitty. Excuse me. This is not for kitties. No, don't steal my tools, you little jerk. Hey, where'd my piece go? Uh-oh, did I just squish it? I think I just squished it. Wah, wah. Okay, you know what? For now, I'm actually gonna leave this. Okay, don't run off with my paper clips. You're very sweet, but oh my gosh, you're a mess. Oh my gosh. Hey, my tools. You get your own tools. You get your own. I'm gonna come back to this. Let's do arms. Arms, arms. Okay. So, I'm going to take, let's do this chunk of clay. Cat, you're like giant monster cat right now in the camera. Do you know this? Do you know this about you, my Zuko? She does not care, I'll just inform you. Okay, so now what I want to do is roll this out a little bit so we have some thickness. And then I'm going to flatten it out. This is not big enough. I need more. Nope, she does not care at all. She's so interested in what I'm doing. I know. What is this? Don't play with that. Crazy. Crazy kitty. How's everyone's days going? Do you have giant cats attacking you as well? Is that just me? You know, in real life, she's usually pretty small. So, this is unusual. Alright, here we go. This piece is going to be way too big, but we're going to roll it out. So that it is much thinner. I'm kind of trying to get just enough space for me to cut some wings. I don't want them to be too thin. This is something I always have trouble with. Either making them too thin or too thick. In her instance, they're going to be up against her body, so it's not too big of a deal. But sometimes owls, a la him, although he has the sonic screwdriver to help, but sometimes it becomes too brittle if it's too thin. Okay, so from here, I'm just literally, I'm going to cut a round flat edge. I want that to be flatter. And then I'm going to cut a little wing shape in here. And then I'm going to do one more. Same thing. Trying to make them about the same size and shape. I got decently close. And then usually what I do now is kind of try to smooth out my edges a little bit while it's here. Because I find it a little bit easier to do it this way. sometimes when you cut it out, it just leaves these, like, I don't know, little hanging edges that I don't like. Okay. And then, of course, whenever you try and peel it off. But this is kind of the shape that I have. So, the wing will go like this. That wing is too big for my body. Alright, so we'll start again because I gotta make it a little smaller. Alright. Roll this up again. Oh, I'm so glad I'm entertaining you, Zuko. I'm so glad. Ooh, costumes ready for Gen Con. Yes! Hi, me, you fools. There are. What costumes are you going to wear for Gen Con? Yeah. What do you think, Zuko? Is this flat enough? Okay. So I'm gonna make this whole thing a little smaller so I don't make giant wings again. Alright, I'm gonna cut that edge. And then cut a wing. This wing is not as pretty as my last wing. Gnome inventor from your Savage Worlds game named Newt? That sounds awesome. I hope to see you at Gen Con. I want to see this costume. What days are you going to be there? Are you going to be there the whole time? Oh boy, you guys. These little wings. Hey, stop eating my things. Cat. Okay, let's see if I can salvage these. So my cat is a kleptomaniac of some kind. She likes to steal all of our stuff and run off with it. That's awesome. I did make these two figures that Zuko is hiding. These two? Yes. This is my sleepy time owl. He's a generic owl in my David. I made them. I've made... Zuko, really, can you clean your paw somewhere else? I've made this dude. He's a gnome from Jordan's book. Thank you, me you fools. Wednesday to Saturday. That's awesome. Here's my little Cthulhu owl. Zuko, you're so in my way. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I upset you? I have Matt here. This little gnome here from Jordan's RPG game, Goobles and Goblins. And the first thing I ever made was this dragon. This is not mine. This is I mean, it's not my design. I learned how to do this from, I forget her name. It's like Wee Beasties or something like that on, she's on YouTube. She's all over the place. Can I ask you to like scoot this way? Thanks. Okay. Okay. Or that, you know, just block the camera in its entirety. Zuko. Sorry, everybody. All right. Oh, and my camera's all moved to the side. Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, Scotty, I hope that you are able to come by some saving throw events. If you are a saving throw person, we've got our Savage Worlds show on Saturday at Gen Con at 4 p.m. Wildcards. But we have a bunch of stuff happening. Lots of shows. So hopefully we'll see you. Okay, let's see if I can make these little wings look good. Okay, I think that wing's about the right size. So let's see. I'm going to smooth it out on this side a touch. And then before I put it on, I'm actually going to make it look like it's a part of... Yay! I hope so, Scotty. We're doing so many things. If you're a fan of Saving Throw, you probably already know all of our shows. Lots of shows and panels this year. Really kicked it up a notch. Well, awesome. I hope to see your cosplay. Brains. I need to take a very tiny bit of, what is that? A very tiny bit of clay here, and I'm going to roll it up so I can get a little edge for her cuff. So this doesn't need to wrap all the way around. It just kind of needs to go right here on the edge, but I'm going to flatten it out. As much as I can. And very much the same way I did her coat on her body. I am just gonna try and get it on here so it looks like she has a sleeve. So I'm gonna smooth it out on this side. It's a little hard to do these little tiny without flattening things out in a way you don't want to do. Okay. It's very easy to get a little too much clay, which is probably a little bit of my problem here. Well, are you talking about his NPC characters, you fools? Because his NPC characters are, you know, essentially antagonists. Yeah. Yep. Mostly just because they're, you know, being the antagonists they are. Alright. So here's my arm with her little wing with the cuff, so it's a full jacket. Now this is one thing that I kind of go back and forth on. Like for example here, I kind of tried to smooth the jacket in on the cuff, or on the shoulder basically, but I don't know that I like that. In some ways I kind of like it being separate here. What? TPK on the 4th game, Scotty? Jesus. I'll tell you though, the first, it wasn't ETU, it was our Secret World game that we played at home, but he basically sort of modeled it after ETU. It was about a TPK on that, like the second, session, and that was not cool. It's hard. It is hard indeed. Alright, so that's one little arm. Now we'll do the other. So this one is going to go this way. His arm's still just a touch long, but that's alright. It happens. She's got big wings. What can you say? Okay. Here we go, and now I'm going to smooth this down. It's a little easier. I tried to give myself a little less clay this go. There we go. The only thing I don't like about doing jackets on these guys is normally with the owls I give them some texture. Oh man, sorry, I keep hitting the camera with my feet. I got it on a tripod. The texture, let me tilt this down a little bit so you can actually see what I'm doing. But I can't really, I don't like to do that on jackets and things. Well, I personally don't think all of his characters are jerks. But yeah, you don't have to be a jerk to be an antagonist. Not at all. Okay, these guys aren't as even as I would like. Oh, thanks. This is Pretzel Rocks. It's just a player that plays music in the background. Okay, so my wings are uneven in a way that I really don't like. So I'm going to try and adjust that by cutting them. And we'll see if I really mess myself up. And whenever you do something like this, you kind of have to deal with some messiness that you're going to have to go back and clean up. Shouldn't be too hard, all things considered, hopefully. All right. There we go. That's a little better, I think. Okay. So we got our wings. Sorry. There we go. Wings on both sides here. Huh. Yes, Dennis is a big fan. Favorite, I think. All right. So now we have wings, and we have feet. I think it might be easier to do her face, her little eyes and nose, before I do her hat, because I feel like this hat is going to give me trouble. I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this like rim of this hat. I don't know how that's gonna work. All right, so for eyes, I'm gonna do similar to I did for the feet. Yeah, this is a Carmen Sandiego owl that I am making for Diana Moon, XXX Diana Moon. It was one she won, and she requested Carmen Sandiego. All right, this is probably a little too big, so I'll cut it in half. Here we go. Still maybe a touch too big. There we go. These actually might be too small now that I, of course, get it. Right? Yeah, we should tag it. All right, so I want to make these little balls again. I want them to be pretty close in size. This one seems just the tiniest bit too big, so I'll pull a little off. That seems good. And then I'm going to basically flatten them out. There we go. Similar in size. Pull those off. These are probably going to be too big for her head. Yep. Okay. Let's try that again. There's so much of this that's kind of like trial and error, trial and error. This one's a touch bigger. All right. Little balls. We're gonna press it down. Now these might be too small. Let's find out. Nope. Nope, that's pretty good. Okay. Here we go. Try and get them about the same size. I think this is about good. No idea, you fools. No clue whatsoever. Okay, so now we have the base of the eyes here. And I'm going to take two little, like, very tiny piece and do the same thing, except it's really tiny. This might actually be too tiny. And a better way to do this probably is to take something like this, but not so pointy, a bit more rounded, and stick a little spot where you want these to go. So I've put these little tiny, I don't know if you can see that, but these little tiny holes in the eyes here. Hey, thanks me, you fools. Alright, so let's see. Let's see how this looks. That's pretty good size. Thank you, guys. Okay, this one's a touch too big, so cut a little bit off. Ah! Eh! Oh no, now I've lost my eyeball! Oh well, we'll use this. Maybe this is my eyeball. I don't know. I think that works. So now, oops, sorry, hit the thing again. Now we have little eyeballs. Oh, sit straight, lady. That's one thing I have a hard time with, is getting them to sit up straight. Okay, it's probably my foil, would be my guess. Now we need to do a nose. A mouth nose. A beak, rather. So I'm going to take another little tiny ball, and then to this one, I'm going to pinch both sides kind of between my hands, so I kind of get this like diamond shape. I'm going to flatten it out a bit, and I'll show you. And this is probably going to be too big, but let's see. Yeah, here, I'm going to put it on before I show you, because I don't think you're going to be able to see it otherwise. Especially not if I drop it and knock everybody over. Maybe a little too big. Oh, but it looks like that. I don't know, I kind of like it. I kind of like it. She just might. Indeed, it's probably for her. I have a little thing that messed up here. See if I can fix it. That's better. Okay, so now I have my face, my jacket body. She likes to lean to the right. Okay, now the hat. Let me look at this picture again. This hat is, oh boy. How do I want to do this? I think the best thing to do is to make the brim. But that's going to be hard. So this is the hard part. Ah, yes. Yeah, the beak looks good. It's just, you know, they all look a little different each time. You never know what you're going to end up with. So, I think what would be best here is a stencil of some kind. I'm going to run out of time. I may have to do some of this later. Ooh, let's see. Maybe a quarter will work. Oh, I shouldn't use those quarters. Those are... Hang on for a second. Let me find something. Let's see. That might work. Just use that as my... Alright. So here we go. I've got this, like, circle. Okay. So for this, I'm just gonna kind of cut out the center. This doesn't really need to be perfect. Let's see how this works. We'll learn together. So what I'm seeing here is I'm going to need to have a little bit of stuff on top, simply because the head's just not that big. So I want there to be a bit of hat up here. And her hat kind of has this, like, I don't know, this like squareness to it. So I'm actually going to do this again. I'm going to roll this out and use my little cutter I used. Me. Ah, come on. Okay. Here we go. Let's roll this out, see if I can get a nice big circle. This is the only thing that can be annoying sometimes, is the clay wants to stick to my roller, which I don't like very much. That's enough, so we'll get our round bit. There we go, so we have this piece again. I'm going to try and fix the edges a little bit because my cutter, you know, is not amazing. It's makeshift. All right. Okay, that's probably pretty good. So this time I'm going to leave this bit on top, and I'm actually going to see if I can, oops, put another piece on it here. Maybe as like a little square piece. And her hat looks kind of triangular, so let's see. If I do it kind of like... And I don't really want this to be overly smooth. I want it to have harder edges. That's kind of what it looks like in the picture. Kind of depends on the one we're looking at here. So let's see. I'm just going to smooth this together. Yep, they're all made from Sculpey. And I forget the specific type of clay, but basically it's just oven baked clay. You don't need a special oven or anything. So I'm actually going to see if I can't put a little groove in here for the head so we get a little depth. All right. And her hat's kind of floppy. Okay, now I'm going to make the band that goes around it. I'm going to roll it flat. Oh, hello, sorry, I was stabbing her. Just so we have a flatter edge as opposed to kind of a round tube. Ruh-roh, it's not big enough. Okay, a little bigger. A little more clay. Yeah! I'm gonna have clay all over the place. Oh, hi, Zuko. I didn't know you were down there. I often find her just sitting somewhere nearby. Silly kitty. Okay, now we're going to roll this out again. Get a longer piece this time. It's a little uneven, but you know, like I said, I'm a messier maker of these kinds of things. Alright, I'm gonna try and position it a little bit here. Alright. Here we go, and let's see if I can smooth together the ends. Just a tiny bit. Probably won't be perfect. Alright, so I need to continue to cut out this center a little bit. See if I can do that without messing up the band I created. Hear my kitty meowing. To my left, that is my microphone. Okay, so what I'm finding right now is that I need a whole lot more in the center here, so I may have to redo my hat. We'll see. Might also just literally be able to add a little bit of clay on top. I knew the hat was going to be my hardest bit. And I was right. Yep, I'm going to redo the hat. I suppose it's a snowball. It's a bit round. Alright. Rolling this out. So I think I'm going to do this different too. I don't want it to be too thin. Okay. I think it was going to be hard to get it to sit the way I wanted it to. All right. So now what I'm going to do is actually cut out the center again. Alright. Now there's no telling if this hat's going to hold this shape. Okay, so now I'm actually going to put like a ball on top. Because her hat is pretty tall. Me! That's too big. Too big. Alright. Here we go. This is looking a little better, but I think I have a little too much clay. Alright. Thank you, Scotty! Woo! Alright. Now I gotta get this to stick together a bit. Stick together, come on. Now the trick I think I'm going to run into here is figuring out how to get it to be smooth. That part's probably going to be a bit hard. Also, I don't want this piece to come down too far. Alright. Definitely have to... Oop, pushing into the eyeballs. But I think this is going to help make the hat a lot stronger, hopefully, because there's so much more clay up here. The only problem I'm getting is this brim is getting too short on this side. But luckily the brim of her hat is kind of crooked anyway. Alright, it's getting there. She's needs a little bit of just smoothing, really. Alright. Now we have to make sure it doesn't look too much like a witch's hat. See if I can pull it back up a little bit. Oh my goodness, I think I'm gonna have to put the brim back around it. Hold on. Here we go. Pull this extra bit off. Pull a little off in the back here. There we go. A lot of clay back here. Alright. Now, let me clean up the brim down here. Okie dokie. What I may have done is made my brim. Actually, I think if I like this part where she just looks like a cone head. Okay. I think if I... Where are all my things? I always set things down in some weird place and I can't figure out where I put them. Or Zuko ran off with it. I need my roller. Oh, it's in my lap, of course. Okay. This is big enough it is. It'd be really great if I had a much smaller thing I could cut. Here, let's see. Ta-da! That works. Great, now I have a donut. Now we're going to try this right on top. Oh man, I'm going to have to go back and fix her jacket. This is where this stuff gets hard. You know what? I have an idea. Before I put that on, I'm going to make the brim, or the rim. And then, man, I have to go soon. Damn. Damn, damn. Okay. Guess I am gonna have to push this down. I'm going to put this little rim right on top. Alright. Here's where we are so far. I think that's doing pretty good. But what I'm going to need to do is go back and kind of clean up my edges, because I've been pushing on so many parts of this and it's so soft. I'm losing some of my definition here between her feet and jacket and things like that. So I will adjust that. But this is where we're at for right now, which I feel like is pretty good. Thank you. And I will have to come back and do a bit more later. But what I will do is bake her. And then next time we can paint her. Hooray! That is what I'll do. But thank you guys for joining me today to do a little bit of clay making. It's been a really long time since I've made a clay owl. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I have to go teach a yoga class now. But yeah, maybe I'll make some more of these, paint some miniatures, do some things like that. Tomorrow I'm probably going to do cooking stream. Since I do make dinner for the Wild Cards crew, I'll probably cook that beforehand on stream because why not? I like cooking. I can do it with people as opposed to by myself. But that'll probably be around like 2 or 3 tomorrow, so check that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure Zuko will be all about the paint. That crazy cat. But now I'm going to go teach a yoga class so that my students, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, don't get upset because I'm not there. But yeah, thank you guys for being here and for following and just hanging out and making some clay owls with me. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks. See ya. Bye.